A tunnel between Kunming and Guizhou explodes. A good-looking woman thinks she doesn't have to wait in line. Chinese police are freezing accounts to generate income. COVID-19 is reaching another peak. CCP praises Chinese Olympic achievements, but people aren't impressed. Chinese government assigns blood donation quotas. On August 14th, a netizen posted a video on Douyin showing a fire in the Wutong Tunnel on the road from Kunming, Yunnan, towards Guizhou. In the video, thick smoke can be seen billowing out of the tunnel entrance, and the road is already packed with cars. A netizen on the scene said, "There's a fire inside the tunnel, but it's unclear how many cars are in there." A female driver mentioned that a car exploded inside the tunnel. There were both trucks and smaller cars involved, and she estimated she was about 3 to 4 kilometers from the tunnel entrance. Her car had just entered the tunnel, but she quickly backed out. Another netizen from Yunnan said his father called him, saying he was one of the first to enter the tunnel and noticed a car accident inside. He immediately told his passenger to go behind and stop the other vehicles from entering, and then they both quickly exited the tunnel. If they had been a few minutes later, they wouldn't have been able to get out. Someone mentioned that they've been working in logistics and driving through this tunnel for 16 years, and every year there are accidents here. Accidents in Chinese tunnels are frequent, and rescue operations are very difficult. On August 10th, inside a tunnel in downtown Chengdu, a construction electric vehicle caught fire, causing a major traffic jam. There were so many vehicles that they couldn't be moved, preventing fire trucks from getting close to the scene. A woman claimed that being good-looking means she doesn't have to wait in line, and a junior manager says it's easy to ruin a big company. On August 13th, in a shopping street in Shanghai, a young woman allegedly cut in line, sparking an argument with several men. A man dressed in black intervened and got into a dispute with the woman. The woman arrogantly demanded an apology from him. In the video, the man in black said, "We've been waiting here for 3 to 4 hours, and I got upset when I saw someone causing trouble." When asked why she didn't want to wait in line, the woman said, "Because I'm good-looking, so I don't want to wait in line. You damaged my reputation, so you must apologize." A group of men in the crowd started cheering, saying, "She's like a little fairy." The woman hysterically screamed, "Whoever I point at, they must apologize to me. I've grown up without anybody daring to shout at me. You apologize now." The man in black repeatedly said, "I'm sorry." Yet the woman continued to curse and insult him, drawing boos from the crowd. Then the woman pointed at a boy in white and demanded an apology from him. The boy said, "Why should I apologize to you?" Amidst the laughter of the onlookers, the woman began hurling insults, saying the boy came from a poor background and was just poor. The video also shows security guards trying to defuse the situation, urging the man to apologize. According to someone familiar with the incident, the disruptive woman was later taken away by the police. Commenting on the incident, one netizen said, "Read more books. Don't let your appearance be the only thing you're confident about." In China, it's not just attractive women who act arrogantly, officials do as well. Even a low-level manager in a small county can bring down a big company. On August 14th, a netizen revealed that a minor official from the Market Supervision Bureau in Chengwu County, Shandong, boasted arrogantly, saying, "I don't have the ability to support a business, but bringing one down is too easy." According to public information online, the Chengwu Market Supervision Bureau previously applied to freeze the bank accounts of multiple companies under suspicion of pyramid schemes. These include freezing 360 million RMB from Top Learning Beijing Education Technology Company, 99 million RMB from Dalian Changxing Island Economic Zone Jingtang Vocational Training School Company, 85 million RMB from Xi'ai International Group, 98 million RMB from Zhongkang Mingshi Technology Development Haikou Company, and 139 million RMB from Hangzhou Yueyang Biotechnology Company, totaling 781 million RMB. A netizen exposed that the Market Supervision Bureau of Chengwu County took the lead, with the Chengwu County Court backing them up, forming a joint operation and hunting for targets wherever they could. On July 29, 2024, the Chengwu County Market Supervision Bureau informed Barco that it was suspected of engaging in pyramid schemes and planned to impose a fine of over 25 million RMB. Without even taking any specific administrative action, the Bureau applied to the Chengwu County Court to freeze 94.5 million RMB from Barco's business and personal accounts for nearly 2 years. The netizen revealed that a single section chief at the Market Supervision Bureau in Chengwu has a confiscation target of 50 million RMB. One commentator said this section chief deserves praise for his honesty, as he bluntly stated, "I don't have the ability to support a business, but bringing one down is too easy." The commentator sarcastically noted that no one understands the nature of the Chinese Communist Party better than its officials. This reflects the basic logic of the Communist Party's leadership at various levels. Most Chinese officials follow this approach, making money through threats. They indeed have the means to bring down businesses. The more people there are within the system, the harder it is for companies to survive. However, those who pay protection fees are allowed to engage in scams and fraud under the guise of legality. The shocking truth behind how Chinese police use account freezing to generate income. A netizen mentioned that people in Taizhou say the Public Security Bureau in Yueyang, Hunan, makes money by freezing accounts. Reportedly, they are responsible for freezing half the accounts across the country. One netizen posted on social media, saying that after transferring money to a friend, he received a call shortly after, allegedly from the local police station. They claimed to be acting on instructions from the Anti-Fraud Center and questioned him about the transfer, stating that the recipient's account had issues. They demanded the netizen's address for an in-person check. When the netizen questioned why he was being targeted for the recipient's account's problems and expressed doubt about whether they were truly from the Anti-Fraud Center or scammers themselves, the caller threatened to freeze his account if he didn't cooperate. Sure enough, the next day, his card was frozen. It could receive money but not send it. Some have said that this has become the norm, with many 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th-tier cities across the country generating income by freezing accounts. Anti-fraud is merely a pretext. They don't go after the actual fraudsters, but instead target ordinary people. Many netizens are confused and wonder how freezing accounts can generate income. After all, the police can't directly take money from frozen accounts, right? A netizen responded, explaining that they might target an account already involved in a confirmed fraud case and deposit a small amount of money into your account, making you a co-conspirator. If you try to appeal, dealing with cross-regional jurisdictions could leave you in a difficult situation. Once the local police have this authority, having any money in your account can spell disaster. A professional clarified that, in principle, the police don't have the power to directly deduct funds from bank accounts. However, in telecom fraud cases, when accounts are frozen, it often involves another region, and the procedures to unfreeze the account are highly complicated. The timeframes given to resolve the issue are becoming increasingly short, making it nearly impossible to complete the process. Once the police accuse you of being involved in telecom fraud and freeze your bank card, it becomes nearly impossible to recover the funds after they've been forcibly deducted. One blogger mentioned that such operations are ongoing, with large number of cards being frozen every day. Recently, judicial freezes have been imposed across various regions, giving people just a short month to address the issue. If not dealt with promptly, it's considered a waiver of the right to defend oneself. At that point, regardless of whether the funds in the account are legal or not, the police will forcibly deduct the funds as part of the case. Some individuals are involved in cases with only around 50,000 RMB at stake, yet their accounts are frozen for over 500,000 RMB. This kind of excessive freezing is illegal. In many areas, the police calculate the amount to be frozen by adding up all cumulative withdrawals, which is also controversial. Some foreign exchange business owners have had their accounts frozen simply because they received payment for goods, and in order to unfreeze the account, they were forced to return the money. This is clearly unreasonable. For those involved in foreign trade, receiving payment for goods can lead to accusations of telecom fraud, resulting in their accounts being frozen. To unfreeze the account, they are required to return the money. But to whom? Not the person who made the payment, since that payment was for goods. So, where does the money end up? One netizen commented that it's not just happening in Yueyang, it's common in Changsha as well. They recalled a time when a large transfer during a business trip led to their account being frozen. Fortunately, there wasn't much money left in that account anyway. Freezing accounts generates income, and unfreezing accounts is another source of income. What a profitable system! Is China seeing a resurgence of unexplained pneumonia? COVID-19 peaks again. In several regions across China, authorities have launched emergency drills for unexplained pneumonia outbreaks, raising suspicions among netizens that a new virus may have emerged. After 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, using the term unexplained should no longer be necessary. In fact, when the Wuhan virus first broke out, Chinese authorities also referred to it as an unexplained pneumonia. According to Chinese media reports, many areas across China have recently conducted these emergency drills for unexplained pneumonia outbreaks. Cities and regions such as Shijingshan District in Beijing, Zhangye in Gansu, Lishui in Zhejiang, Zigong in Sichuan, Yueyang in Hunan, and Tengchong in Yunnan have all carried out such drills. On August 13th, a report from Zhangye, China, stated that to further strengthen the emergency response teams for infectious diseases at the city and county levels, enhance health emergency handling capabilities, and scientifically and effectively respond to various public health emergencies, the city's Health Commission and Center for Disease Control and Prevention recently organized a tabletop exercise for the prevention and control of mass unexplained pneumonia. More than 50 participants from the city and county CDCs took part in the drill. Earlier, on August 7th, similar reports were released in Lishui, Zhejiang, and Shijingshan District, Beijing, on the same day. The Lishui Daily reported that recently, the second fully blind real-time emergency drill for the 2024 Lishui CDC system was held, with 10 teams from the city CDC and 9 county CDCs participating. A press release from the Shijingshan District Health Commission in Beijing stated, recently, the Shijingshan District Health Commission organized a 2024 emergency drill for the prevention and control of mass unexplained pneumonia outbreaks. The purpose was to further strengthen the practical awareness of medical and health institutions in the district, standardize handling procedures, and ensure well-coordinated responses, rapid reactions, and proper management in the event of an infectious disease outbreak. Additionally, the COVID-19 epidemic in China has reached another peak during the summer. On August 13th, the Dalian Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a reminder, noting that domestic COVID-19 infections have increased. They advised wearing masks or maintaining social distance to reduce the risk of spreading respiratory diseases. Data released by the Guangdong Provincial CDC showed that in June, there were 8,246 new cases of COVID-19 infections across the province, which surged to 18,384 cases in July, an increase of over 10,000 new infections in just 1 month. Monitoring by the Chinese CDC also indicated a continuous rise in COVID-19 infection rates. In July, China recorded 203 new severe cases of COVID-19 and 2 deaths. Many people have taken to social media to report they've tested positive, experiencing symptoms such as fever, cough, sore throat, and body aches, common signs of respiratory infections. One patient who was infected with COVID-19 for the 3rd time shared with media that after experiencing a stuffy nose for 2 days, she initially thought it was a cold causing her throat inflammation. By the 3rd day, she developed muscle aches, a low-grade fever, and headaches, and a self-test confirmed her COVID-19 positive status. It wasn't until the 6th day that her symptoms gradually improved. After the conclusion of the Paris Olympics, China News reported that following the Tokyo Olympics, the Chinese delegation won a total of 91 medals, 40 gold, 27 silver, and 24 bronze, maintaining 2nd place in the gold medal rankings. This marked China's best performance in an overseas Olympic Games. Chinese state media was filled with celebration, heavily promoting their own achievements while criticizing the U.S., which topped the medal count. Simultaneously, Chinese state media and anti-doping agencies launched a new round of accusations, claiming that American athletes were involved in drug abuse. They argued that the U.S. has no right to criticize China on doping issues. The Chinese government even tacitly endorsed some of the unfounded accusations circulating online against American athletes. On August 10th, Voice of America reported that Beijing was attempting to downplay one of the biggest doping scandals in recent years. In April of this year, the New York Times revealed that 23 Chinese swimmers had tested positive for banned substances ahead of the last Olympics. At that time, Chinese authorities claimed that the athletes had unknowingly consumed the prohibited substances. The World Anti-Doping Agency accepted this explanation and allowed the athletes to compete. These athletes went on to help China win several medals at the 2021 Olympics. Following this incident, Chinese swimmers were subjected to more stringent tests at the Paris Olympics compared to athletes from other countries. The Chinese government felt humiliated by the situation and continued to fixate on the U.S. swim team. Shortly after the start of this year's Olympics, several Chinese nationalist bloggers and commentators posted photos of American female swimmers with flushed faces after their races. They claimed that the athletes' faces turned reddish-purple, suggesting it was evidence of drug use. Some netizens believe that the Chinese government's actions serve two purposes. First, to try to save face after once again losing to the U.S. in the Olympics, and second, to fuel anti-American sentiment by exploiting the patriotic enthusiasm of China's nationalist Little Pinks. However, outside of these nationalist circles, the broader Chinese public's response might be somewhat disappointing for the government. On August 13th, in Shanxi, China, a netizen asked a street vendor selling steamed cakes what he thought about China winning gold medals at the Olympics. The vendor replied, "Their gold medals have nothing to do with me." The vlogger pressed, "How could it have nothing to do with you? Chinese athletes won." The elderly man responded, "No matter how many gold medals they win, I'm still drinking plain water." The blogger then asked, "Would you be upset if China didn't win any gold medals?" The elderly man replied, "Why would I be upset? If they don't win gold medals, I'm still selling steamed cakes. If they win gold medals, I'm still selling steamed cakes. It has nothing to do with me." The blogger pressed on, "Aren't you proud to be Chinese when they win gold medals?" The elderly man responded, "What's there to be proud of? What good does pride do? We're all Chinese, but some people eat lavish meals while others go hungry." The blogger then asked, "Are we still boycotting Christmas this year?" The elderly man replied, "Boycott what? I'm not boycotting anything. I'm just living my life and doing what I need to do." Finally, the blogger asked, "Are Americans bad people?" The vendor responded, "Americans haven't come to me, and I haven't made any dealings with them. You say they're bad, but what makes them bad? You don't have any proof." Netizens commented, "This vendor's insight far surpasses that of the Little Pinks." However, Olympic gold medals are still connected to ordinary Chinese people, because each gold medal costs 700 million RMB, and this money is squeezed from people like this vendor. Another netizen joked, "This is one of the few normal people who slipped through the cracks of the CCP's brainwashing. He's more level-headed than my PhD classmate who works at Huawei. This old man understands that gold medals won't make foreigners come to buy his steamed cakes, and Americans aren't going to come and confiscate his stall. The real threat to him comes from the police and the city enforcement officers raised by the CCP." Indeed, China's urban management, Chengguan, is known for being quite overbearing. On August 13th, a netizen filmed a video on the street. In it, an elderly fruit vendor was carrying 2 baskets of fruit on his electric bicycle when a group of city enforcers surrounded him, preparing to confiscate his bike and fruit. The enforcers spoke to the old man while tossing his fruit into their own vehicle. Helpless, the elderly vendor broke down in tears, sobbing loudly. Netizens expressed their heartbreak upon seeing the elderly vendor crying, saying, "Watching him cry breaks my heart. Don't do this. Don't you have parents? If conditioned allowed, this elderly man should be at home enjoying his retirement. He's only out there selling fruit to support himself because there's no one to take care of him in his old age. Where's your conscience?" They continued, "Take a walk down the street. Everything from food to daily necessities is available. What a glorious China! Have the people of Taiwan seen this?" On August 3rd, a middle-aged man was selling flowers at a food stall in a night market. His size contrasted sharply with the delicate flowers in his hands. He was sweating profusely as he tried his hardest to sell the flowers, but despite his best efforts, no one bought them. The netizen filming the video said, "Watching this man, drenched in sweat, reminded me of myself, middle-aged and unemployed. Everyone is struggling to survive, and it's impossible to ignore." The netizen bought some flowers from him, and the man thanked him profusely. Another netizen commented, "Judging by his behavior, appearance, and clothing, he was definitely successful once. It's truly heartbreaking to see someone who was once successful now having to do this just to support his family." Some people say that the pressures of life have made the Chinese people more clear-headed. At least half of them share the mindset of that steamed cake seller. The exceptions are the privileged little pinks and the inexperienced students. Even a pig, after long-term exploitation, would eventually figure out who the real enemy is, let alone people. The problem is that the CCP controls the narrative, societal resources, and public exposure, so the real voices are being suppressed, but the silent majority is very much there. Nowadays, many people from the grassroots, including small vendors who once made up the CCP's core base, are seeing things clearly. After decades of repetitive propaganda and the disastrous impact of the pandemic, coupled with the CCP's poor handling of it all, the result has been like a re-education for the entire population. More and more people are no longer buying into the CCP's narrative. With no one donating blood, the CCP starts imposing quotas on public employees. The Chinese Communist Party has long tried to convince the public that donating blood is an honorable act. They've claimed that it doesn't harm the body and saves lives, and that when you or your family need blood, you'll have priority access to free blood plasma. However, no one believes these lies anymore. People have realized that the privileged class always has access to blood when needed, while ordinary citizens face immense difficulty when trying to obtain it. On August 12th, a netizen posted a screenshot of a document online showing that in Huaiyuan County, Anhui Province, due to a lack of voluntary blood donors, the government began assigning blood donation quotas to public employees within the system. The document, issued by the Huaiyuan County Market Supervision Bureau, is titled Notice on Effectively Carrying Out the 2024 Voluntary Blood Donation Campaign, and was sent out on August 12, 2024. The content of the notice reads, in accordance with the notice from the Office of the Huaiyuan County People's Government on effectively carrying out the 2024 county-wide voluntary blood donation campaign, all units are required to organize employees to actively participate in voluntary blood donation. The number of participants should not be less than 15% of the total number of employees. After discussion by the Bureau's party committee, all units are required to submit the list of participating employees to the County Bureau's labor union by August 14th. Additional names can be reported. The specific arrangements for blood donation includes a total of 11 departments, with 34 participants in total. Additionally, there is a detailed attachment outlining the rights of blood donors, basic conditions, and precautions. In recent years, the number of people volunteering for blood donation in China has been steadily declining. According to reports from Chinese media in July, staff at the Guizhou Red Cross Blood Center indicated that blood donations have significantly decreased. In the past, a single donation site could collect 70 to 80 units of blood per day, with each unit being 200 milliliters, but now they're only collecting 20 to 30 units daily. The report mentions that the lack of blood donations is widespread, and the reasons behind this are complex. The main issue seems to be a lack of trust in the system for voluntary blood donation. Netizens commented, blood donation is free, but the cost of using blood is astronomical. The blood banks are truly making a fortune. People are finally waking up to this reality. A report by the paper on December 16, 2023, noted that due to the severe cold weather, the number of blood donors had plummeted, prompting multiple cities across the country to urgently call on citizens to donate blood. However, calls for voluntary blood donations are being met with widespread public resistance, much like the Red Cross's appeals for donations. On Weibo, netizens are openly mocking the situation. Donate blood to that little fairy from Shanghai who went to Tibet for vacation? She should call her aunt. Quick, mobilize government officials to donate blood. Haven't they already set a successful example? You'll have to ask her aunt to help with this one. Can non-government people donate? What if they contaminate the red genes? Let the blood tank sister lead the way. What about that Alibaba case? We still haven't gotten a clear explanation. According to revelations from Chinese social media, on the evening of November 28, 2023, a woman named Ms. Yu from Shanghai posted in a video on Douyin that after a car accident in Tibet on August 14th, her aunt used her connections to mobilize all the civil servants in the area to donate 7,000 milliliters of blood for her. Her family then spent 1.2 million RMB to charter a plane to transfer her to Chengdu's West China Hospital for treatment, with police escorting the convoy during the transfer. Because of that video, Ms. Yu was dubbed Blood Tank Sister. Netizens lamented that if it weren't for her special status and the privileges she enjoyed, a regular person in her situation wouldn't have been saved. Many called on the authorities to reveal the truth behind the incident. One netizen commented, "The aftermath of the Tibet incident might make whether to donate blood or not the next societal dilemma, much like whether to be a good Samaritan when encountering accidents." Sophisticated selfishness will once again shape societal attitudes, as people won't want their acts of kindness to be taken for granted by individuals like her. Another netizen exposed the harshness of the CCP's policies, saying, "My family went through this not long ago. The situation was urgent, and none of the immediate family members were suitable for donating blood due to health reasons or because they weren't nearby. We were desperate, frantically reaching out to friends and family to find someone who could donate in an emergency. The donor had to physically go to the hospital to complete the paperwork before the hospital would release blood from the blood bank. This cruel policy essentially blocks access to blood from the patient's side. People are better off saving their blood for their own families. There's no such thing as lifelong free blood use. It's a lie. My relative needed blood for surgery, and even though we had a blood donation certificate, they didn't accept it. The family still had to donate more blood to get what was needed. So what's the point of donating blood in the first place?" Regarding the practice of assigning blood donation quotas within the system, one netizen revealed, "I know a lot about this. Internal staff won't donate. They pass the quotas down and find people outside the system to donate. The internal donation subsidy is around 3,000 RMB, but when passed down to the general public, it's around 500 RMB per person. People in society fight over it." Another person commented that during China's planned economy era, blood donation was always a task every work unit had to complete annually. It was a political duty. It wasn't just limited to government employees. All enterprises, institutions, and schools had to fulfill the task. It was even one of the criteria considered when evaluating party membership and promotions. Over time, with the emergence of blood markets, including black markets and private entities, this forced allocation gradually disappeared. But now, as China returns to a planned economy model, these mandatory blood quotas have surfaced once again.